Hey everybody, how are y'all? Are y'all having fun doing your last minute Christmas shopping? Are you at work, taking a break, or home with your kids? My kids are home today, so we'll see how this live goes. Let me get this pulled up over here real quick so I can see your comments. And I just want to let you know that if you pop on one of my lives, I'm not in like a studio. This is not a setup to where it's professional. I'm in the center of my home. My dogs are running around. My cats are running around. I got kids and a husband running around. So you never know what may happen. It truly is a live, real life video of my house and what goes on here. So today I'm gonna make a burlap colored covered foam wreath with some flowers, and I'm going to show y'all a few things that you may not know if you've never made one of these before. You may think, as someone who has never made wreaths or attempted a wreath, that when you buy like a bouquet like this or a cluster of flowers, please know that you can separate them out and they last you a pretty long time depending on what you're making. You do not have to use that whole cluster on one thing. A lot of people think that you do, or that they need to go and buy like single flowers that are triple the price when you can just buy this. And so you get more bang for your buck if you just buy this. And these actually came from the Dollar Tree. So you can get cheap flowers that are going to look good on your wreath from the Dollar Tree. Just snip them and break them up and you're ready to go. Another thing that I'm going to be using, these are just like a pointed tip bush, plastic pointed leaf. So what I'm going to do with this is I will take my wire cutters and I will just snip this off and use pieces of it like this. This right here will last a while depending on the size of the wreath I'm making or how much greenery I'm going to use, or you know, whatever the situation may be. But you can make stuff spread a pretty long way. So that's just some info for someone who hasn't ever attempted to make a wreath like this. Let's sit this over here. Hello, Jessica. Let me see. Okay, so I have personally never covered a wreath in burlap before, and I really wanted to do a round foam, but this is what I have on hand right now, and my dogs are having WrestleMania. Never fails. So I'm just going to use this and see how it goes. It may turn out, it may not, so we'll see. So I'm just going to take the burlap around like this, and over here I have a glue pot and my glue gun. The glue pot works really good when you're putting your flowers and stuff on your wreaths, because you can just dip it and stick it on. You don't have to worry about using your glue gun. So I'm just going to put some glue on here to get this burlap started so it holds. I have some of these greening pins as well that I'm going to put on here just as extra security to hold this burlap down. So these are just floral pins. You can get them anywhere. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just like a little, just a little metal pick looking thing. And I'm just going to put that 2 of these over where I glued, just for extra security on this burlap. And then I'm just going to wrap this burlap around, and I'm going to try to get it as tight as possible. I want it to look good. I don't want it to look loose and messy. Maybe it's going to work. We'll see. With this square type form, it may not do as good as I want it to, but we'll see. So you just wrap. I'm just covering this foam. And once you get to this part right here, it's going to start, you're going to have to pull just to get a tight wrap on there. I may run out of burlap. So in second, we went from an ugly green floral wreath form to a burlap covered wreath. And I'm not going to worry about this being open down here, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I'm going to take some glue, and I'm going to glue this down. And I'm going to take 2 more pics and stick it over that glue just for extra security. And then I have this left over right here, so I'm just going to cut that off. And then you can just put a dot of glue on the edge here, just to keep it from fraying. Okay, so this is what we have here. This is the wreath. I'm going to take this extra little bit of burlap, maybe not. I may send my husband out to get more burlap. So I'm going to let that dry for a second. I'm going to show y'all what I'm going to be using today. Hello, Nancy. I am, hang on one second. Okay. So I'm going to be using, this is going to be something that you can use in the wintertime or the springtime, kind of one of those transition wreaths that you can use after Christmas when you want to take down your Christmas decor, but you want something else to go up on your door that's not quite spring yet, still a little bit of a winter touch. So I have these, and I don't know what they're called, but they're pretty. Sorry, I don't know the name of them. I have some little berries and some blue little berries. I have some pheasant feathers that I'm going to be putting on there. I have some of these pretty flowers and some of the pointed tip leaves, and I have some just frosty, wintry looking green leaves. So, and then depending on what it looks like when I'm done, I have a wooden stained word that says blessed, and I may decide to put that across the middle. It may need to be painted like with a pop of color. that goes for the winter to spring transition, but we'll see how it looks when I'm done. Let me make sure that that is dry. Another cute thing that I've saw is people will do their flowers down here on the bottom, and then they'll put the numbers for their house right here and hang it on their door, and I think that's super cute. So, Clint,
Yeah.
will you go get me more burlap, please? It's in that tote under the big table. I think I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest of this because, well, maybe not. Yeah, I am. I'm going to cover the rest of it because if I don't, I'm going to have to make sure that I put something over here to cover this green and something in here to cover this. So then that's going to look like a really big, bulky area here, and I may not want that look. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this with more burlap. So hello, Brittany. As soon as my husband goes and gets me some more. I may put in some of this here, which is the only reason that I haven't decided fully on if I'm going to use it. I have some here. It's eucalyptus. This is more of a really bright green eucalyptus, and this is more like spring, summer growth. And to me, it's just too bright to be your winter to early spring transition. So I'm probably not going to use that. As soon as Clint comes with more burlap, I will finish this up and then we'll get started. What are y'all doing today? Y'all conversate with me while I wait on Clint to come back. I'm not used to working in the house, so all my stuff, I just kind of have to carry it around back and forth. So sometimes I run out in the house. Are y'all ready for Christmas? We are going, thanks to Sherwood Forest Baptist Church, which is awesome. They gave us a trip to the mountains, so we are super excited about that. We will be gone over Christmas, and I think it's going to be really good for the kids to just have something new, keep their mind off stuff. Here he is, more burlap. Alright, so if you are just hopping on, I'm going to wrap the rest of this in this burlap here. And it's not going to take much. I'm just going to do like I did before. I'm going to put a little glue down to hold it. And then I'm going to take 2 floral pins and put over the glue just to make sure that that burlap's not going to unravel or come off of the wreath form. Okay. And then I'm going to pull tight. Just to cover all of the green on there. Especially if you're wanting to do like a dainty top wreath and you only want just a few flowers on here, you definitely want to make sure that the whole thing is covered. Okay. So again, back here, I'm just going to do the same thing. Glue. Roll it around tight. And stick your floral, I'm going to use a glue stick because that's still hot. Stick your floral pins in there. You don't have to use these, but I just feel better. Okay. Then I'm going to cut this excess off. And now the whole wreath is covered in burlap. Okay, so the biggest item that's going to go on this wreath is probably these flowers. So I'm going to start with placing a flower. I want to go with more of a this area right here covered, because if I decide to use the blessed, I want to be able to see it, so I don't want it to be covered with the flowers. So I have cut these off of the cluster, and I personally, when you get these, the leaves are down here on your stem. So I personally make sure that all of my petals are up, and I push these leaves up the stem so that they come out behind the flower. Because when I place this on the wreath, you're going to want to see this. So if you left it down here and tried to stick it in, it's going to stick this far off of your wreath, right? So you just push it up if you still want the leaves on there. Some people don't want them, some people do. I personally do. So I'm going to take, and don't worry about these petals hanging down, because once you stick it on the wreath, it'll be just fine. So I'm going to leave some of this here because I need something to stick through the burlap and the foam wreath form that's underneath the burlap, okay? So I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches of the wire stem. Let me open my glue pot. These glue pots, if you were going to get into making anything with flowers or I don't know, it's so much better than a glue gun, honestly, if you're just needing to get some glue on the end of something. Because if I was trying to do this with my glue gun, I'd either have to put it on my wreath form and then stick the flower through, which is okay, but this really helps. So I'm waiting on this glue to get hot enough. And if you decide to get you one of these, all it is like a mini electric skillet. And if you're going to get you one because you want to start making wreaths or floral arrangements or whatever, make sure that you get one that has a temperature control on here. You don't want one that just has on and off, because the on is going to be way too hot for your glue. There's never going to be a happy medium, and you're not going to be able to use it properly because you're going to be fighting burnt glue all the time. So, hello Alicia, how are you? And this one don't take long to heat up at all. So I'm just dipping that stem, the wire part, down in there. And I'm rolling the glue around, and then you just take it here and you just stick it through the burlap. Maybe. Hang on. There we go. You stick it through the burlap, and you got to use a little bit of force to initially push it through. Push that on down.
Someone said, hey,
That's Alicia.
I'm ugly right now because I just woke up.
Hallie wants to say hello. She just woke up. And I accidentally popped my flower off, and that happens, and it's okay. Okay. So now we have put a flower on there, and it is secured with glue, and it is secured with that little bit of wire that you left on the stem, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's secured. So here's the blessed sign. So I'm going to stay below, down here where my hand is, with any kind of floral stuff. And this glue pot heats up super, Hallie's waving, heats up super fast. So, I'm going to take some of these little blue berries. They're not actual blueberries, but just like little blue things on the stem. I do not know these terms for these flowers. I'm still learning, y'all. Like, honestly, I've only been doing wreaths for a month. I just started doing the floral side of it about 2 weeks ago, I guess. So, y'all kind of learn right along with me. And that's okay. Especially if y'all want to do this too. You're going to learn. So, I'll just put that in the glue. And I'm going to stick that behind that. So let me show you something. This part right here is sticking out pretty far, and I don't want it to stick out like this. So there's an area here, if you can see that, I don't know if you can see that, that's plain right here. So I'm just going to cut that part off. And then I'm just going to add some glue to it and stick it in right behind the others. So I still have that full look, but it's not sticking far off of my wreath. I got it smoking over here. Turn that down. This thing heats up fast. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this down. Down in there like that. And now we have this, if you can see. It's very pretty. This one's sticking off this way, and when I get done, I'll decide if I want to take a little bit of floral wire and just kind of secure it to where it's going into the shape of the actual wreath form or not, or if I want to leave it looking natural. So we will decide that in a little bit. So the next thing that I am going to put on here, let's see. I'm going to go with some of this frosted looking stuff here. I don't want to go right into having another flower right beside it. I kind of want something to break that up. So I'm trying to, let's see. I have other flowers over here. I may use one of these. It's like a poppy. I may use it to just break up the color. Okay, so I'm gonna use this. It's really cute. It's just a green like poppy top flower. It has a pink, which is kind of bringing some of that spring forward, and then it has some pretty leaves here. And again, I'm just gonna push those up so that they show around the flower. You don't want to lose any of your foliage. So I'm gonna again cut that stem to where I have about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. And then you can kind of just sit it over here and just figure out exactly where you want to put it. How close you want it to that flower that you've already placed in your wreath. And a little secret that I've learned, do not worry about the glue strings, because there's a secret. You may feel like you have a ton of strings everywhere, and it's okay because all you have to do is take a blow dryer when you're done on high setting and just blow dry over your wreath, and that glue just melts down and you cannot see it. So that's a little secret to get rid of the little glue strings. I don't like that being placed there. I don't want to take over the white flower. I still want it to show too, so you don't want to put them too close. So now we have the blue, the white, and this greenery here. So trust the process. It will all come together in the end. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to take these pheasant feathers and I'm going to place it in between the two flowers where it's kind of sticking out to the side but more up, just to give some dimension. And if you wanted to stick like straight up, of course you would go straight up with it when you stick it in. If you want it to lay down, you have to go at an angle. So now we have the berries and the white flower, the pheasant feathers, and then we have the green here. So this is going to be really pretty when it's done. I'm going to move that up just a little bit. And then again, you can decide if you want to wrap it with a little bit of floral wire to make it go where you really want it to go, or stay the shape of your wreath. Alright. So, I have, let's see. I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to alternate the white flowers with the green flowers. You're going to make sure that, good morning, the mother. Going to make sure that that is good and secure on your stem. Again, cut it to where you have about an inch, inch and a half of that stem left. Dip it in your glue pot, get glue on there, and then decide where you want to place it. And you're going to stick it down in like so. And so now we have, it'll be turned like this. Now we have the berries, the feathers, white, green, white. Let me see. I was looking to see if I had anything else in here with a different pop of color. This one has a little more pink on it, so I'm going to use this with a little bit of a different type leaf on it, so there's not so much green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and that just leaves me with this part, which is more floral colors with green and pink. And then there is some other little flowers on here that have these colored leaves that kind of look like they're coming back to life from winter. So I'm going to take those and stick them on this other one. And that's what I like about buying like a whole bush or like bouquet of flowers is you can piece it together the way that you want to. You do not have to use it the way that it comes. You can bring them over here.
I was leaving.
Oh, bring them over here. Here are the girls, Eddie and Roxy and Clint. He's not one of the girls. Bye, girls.
Let me get Chandler.
Those are our WrestleMania pros over there. Okay,
Love
you. Okay, so good morning, Chris. I have put that colored leaf over here onto this one. And I think I'm going to take off that other green type of leaf that's on here since there is so much green already. I thought I wanted to leave it, but I don't. So you can create the look that you're going for. I'm an outside of the box thinker anyway, so I'm always creating something different with what I have. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so now we have more of this color showing, these little white flowers. You can really see the pink in this and the pink on the end of these. So this is going to bring some of that new spring that you're wanting the look of. And I'm just going to decide how to place that on there. So you dip it in your glue pot, get your glue, stick it through your burlap and your foam, and then just move the pieces around the way you want to. It doesn't have to be exactly how it is once you stick it in there. You can move it around. Okay. And so now let me turn it. So now we're really filling up this wreath form with some really pretty flowers and stuff. So it's really looking full. Now you could stop here if you wanted to and leave just this side done and put your, let me see if I can do this. Put your blessed on there like that, and you could stop here. That right there looks perfectly fine the way it is. So pretty. But I think I'm going to add a little bit more. I never can just leave it like really simple. I kind of tend to go all out with it. I haven't got any of these little berries in yet that I wanted to put in there. I guess I could put that up around the... So I just stuck some berries here. I may move them in a minute. It may look too heavy here, but we'll see. I didn't glue it. I just stuck it through because I don't know that I'm going to leave it there. I got a smaller one. And then these on here, I like these smaller ones down here. So you just can pull it out and just get one. And I'm just going to see how it looks here. Sometimes that wire will be too thin and it'll bend and it will not go in there. So you have wooden floral picks, and these are great for this right here. When you have something that you want to put in but it's too flimsy, So your little floral pick is like a green large toothpick, and it has a wire on the end. So you take what you're wanting to use, and I don't want it to stick out as big as this pick is. So I'm going to place that almost all the way to the bottom and start wrapping. And now it's on a stem that will go into your wreath form. And sometimes you may need a little more wire. So I'm going to snip off a little bit more, just to secure this little end here, if you can see that. Because once you go to stick it in the wreath form, it may pop that. Up, and then it's not gonna look good. Hey Joyce, how are you? Okay, now we have a secure one stemmed flower on a wood pick, and you're still gonna dip it in your glue and decide where you want it. So I took those berries out and I stuck it here. You may not be able to see it good without lighting, but I stuck it here just to see how it looks there. And then I'm gonna stick it right over here and see if it looks better here, and just kind of decide where I'm going. But I think I'm gonna save it for this side. And that's what you do. You just move stuff around until you figure out exactly where you want it placed. Sometimes you may already have it mapped out the way you know it's going to go, and you can just get in here and zoom through it and get it done. But I don't feel like I can show y'all how to do this if I get on here with everything ready to go. I feel like y'all need to see the whole process of how I decide to do what I do, so that when you sit down to try to make one, you remember me going through the different steps of, hi Hallie, of placing it where you want to go. There is no rule to this. It is, you do what you like, you do it how you want to do it. Nobody should tell you that it's wrong, because if you feel it looks good and you think you did a good job, then you did.
Where's your waterproof, whatchamacallit?
Over there.
Where?
Over there.
Your waterproof botanicals?
Yeah, they're right there.
These?
Mm-hmm.
It's like way off.
But, yeah. Let me turn it the way it's, okay. So there we have that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little more blue berries over here to pull in these here. I'm not going to add any more pheasant feathers. And I may not do, what do you think, Hallie? More blue or no?
Make it equal. Even as a little feather.
She said make it equal. That's something that a lot of people struggle with when they do wreaths, is they feel like they do have to make everything equal, and you don't. Actually, things look a lot better in odd numbers, I think, personally. I'm not going to put as much blue over here because this is more your focal point here. You taking your towel off? Hold on, just if you need to.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I've added a little more blue here.
Let me see. Put the bless on. Let me see.
Hallie has to approve. Okay, so this is what Hallie was approving. It's hard to hold it with my hand in the way. I got it. Okay, so this is what we have. We have blessed, we have the flowers, and we have the pheasant feathers that I still can't decide if I want to leave them out like that. I don't think I do. I think I'm going to kind of wire them down to give it more of a formed look. And then I think I'm going to paint this blessed with like an ice blue color, so that it keeps that kind of wintry look, but it's still like a Easter spring blue.
I see gray.
No.
It's smoking.
Let me move these down a little bit.
I'm gonna move it down a little bit.
These feathers.
Turn that down.
Do you want to go get me that China blue paint out there? Or Robin Egg blue? Robin Egg blue. Out there, please.
I gotta get Crocs.
Oh, I gotta put my little other berry in here.
I'm on, by the way. I'm dressed.
Okay.
This is what I'm wearing.
So, Clint and the kids are going to Chattanooga because Sherwood Forest Baptist Church gave us the trip to Pigeon Forge. And we were looking at things to do there because we are on a tight budget. I have not been able to work since Caleb passed away. And so we were looking, and I was like, well, Dollywood is out of the question because it is just too expensive. And it's going to be probably pretty cold and yada yada. Well, Clint and Hallie, I don't remember, where were y'all going?
We were at Home Depot.
Went to Home Depot,
And we just sat in
our
the
home
parking
away
lot
from home,
until
and
8 o'clock.
there was a thing going on, hits 96, 96.1,
96.5.
or 96.5, I don't know. Okay, so anyway, Kid Craddock in the morning, that station, and you had to call in to win.
Number 9.
You had to be caller number 9.
I was 1 and then 9.
Hallie was caller number 1, so she hung up, she called back, and then she was caller number 9 and won 2 tickets to Dollywood. So that was pretty cool. So now we only have to buy 2 tickets and we can afford to go to Dollywood when we're in the mountains. So that worked out perfect.
We're doing the first day.
For you that are just joining, this is what I have made. So you can go back and watch the replay on how I did this.
What color?
Robin Egg blue or China blue. So I just wrapped a wreath form in burlap, and then I put in some little berries and some flowers and some pheasant feathers, and then the word blessed, I'm going to paint it like a really light blue because we're trying to go for a look of winter, early spring. So, if you can see that, we are putting the word blessed here. I'm going to paint it like a light blue. And this is a good wreath for when you take your Christmas down and you want something on your door that's still winter-like. You don't want to just go full-fledged spring yet because it's 20 degrees outside, but you want something that's pretty and still goes for the season and can be left up until you're ready for your Easter or whatever. So, thank you, Ross. So, this is what I made. So, I think it turned out well. We have some of the white flowers here and some poppies and some little azaleas and some other stuff. So, I think it turned out really pretty. So, now I'm just making sure that there's nothing else I want to add. I think I'm going to pin down these. Y'all tell me, okay? There's only 2 of y'all on here, but that's okay. Y'all tell me, should I leave these to where they just stick out like that? Or should I kind of pin them down to where they kind of take form of the wreath and kind of go with the shape? What do y'all think? Should I leave them out or pin them down? Pheasant feathers. Y'all tell me. Okay, I'll leave it out. I'm going to add one more little flower. I love these. They're like little new growth type flowers that are great for this because that's what spring is. Everything's new again. So we'll add a little new growth in here. I love getting stuff that has the different stages of growth, where you have the full open flowers, you have the closed buds, you have the almost open. I really, really like stuff like that, especially for spring wreaths. Okay.
Oh, do the all blue.
So these are sticking out this way, and I don't really want them to do that, so I'm going to tie them down.
Should I see his tail sticking out? What tail?
The feathers.
Oh. I don't want to brush my hair.
Why not?
It's in tangles.
Well, you got to. Okay. So, Hallie could not find the paint for me to paint this blessed sign real quick and throw it on here. So, this is what we have. I'm going to go get the paint and I will paint the blessed sign, attach it to here, and then I will post a picture in the comments of this live video so that you can see it finished. So, I hope y'all learned something with me today. I think this turned out really pretty, and it's a great transition wreath from season to season. So, I may hop on later and do another live. So, if I do and you see me on, just hop on. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye. Will you hit finish?